Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Agnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmiritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swaparantikam. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yutapadakkamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrijatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakhanvidamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमां विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामी नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवारि पाश्चात्यरिषतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna Manu Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, peace, excellent, humble obeisances, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Oh, I told you Manu Prabhu, but it's Shyam Govinda Prabhu. Haribo.
Okay.
And that Prabhu.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Are you all now at temple?
Yes, Prabhu, now we are back to Pondicherry.
Okay, Haribo.
Yes, so we had a brief visit to Jaipur and Vrindavan.
Yes, Prabhu. Did
Yeah.
the deity progress go forward?
Yes, definitely, because we have finalized almost, it's practically finalized.
Yes,
The
Prabhu.
person
Yes, I
who's
saw some
carving out.
videos. Pranjal Prabhu filmed some videos also.
Yeah, and also the wooden altar we are getting from one person in Jaipur, from one devotee we know. So he's doing a business of wooden altars actually in Jaipur.
Yes, Prabhu. I saw
So
that brown one.
yeah, so he will be providing us the altar, and we also got a very nice person who is for to design the interiors of the temple hall.
Oh, really nice.
Yeah, so overall it was a very fruitful trip actually.
Yes, Prabhu.
And of course, apart from that, we had darshan of Govindji, Gopinathji,
Yes,
all
Prabhu. I also saw that.
the original deities, because Jaipur is called Gupt Vrindavan, right? So we went there, we had darshan of all the Goswami deities, and
Yes, Prabhu.
also we went to Karoli and then from there Vrindavan. So 3 days we went to Vrindavan. I'm sorry if I'm ranting too much, because this is supposed to be reading session, not my discussion session or whatever.
No, Prabhu. This is really. Yes,
No, I'm just
Rishikesh Prabhu sent me video from Govardhan Parikram.
yes. So we went to Vrindavan for 3 days. So 3 days we did 3 parikramas actually. So first day Vrindavan parikrama, second day Mathura parikrama, and third day was Govardhan parikrama.
Oh, yes, Prabhu.
I think your favorite, your singer was also sitting on the
Yes, Prabhu.
roadside and singing.
Yes, I saw that.
Yes.
Rishikesh Prabhu took me like high quality video.
Yeah.
First time saw like 4K.
Yeah. So that was it. And it was all walking. First day 12-kilometer walk. Second day 15-kilometer walk. Third day 23-kilometer walk.
Is it like cool now? The weather there?
Yeah, there it is very cold actually. I mean, Not according to Finland standards, but according to Indian standards.
Yes,
It
Prabhu.
goes to about 8 degrees, 7 degrees in the morning, as of now. I think for you, that must be like you'll be roaming around with a normal t shirt and all. And people are going to look at you with wide eyes. You know, how he's roaming around with t shirt?
Yes, Prabhu. Maybe
Because
sweater.
everybody else is wearing.
Degree. But yeah,
Yeah. At least 2 sweaters, upon that a shawl, and covering completely, head, eyes, ear, nose, everything except the eyes.
yes, I do now like this.
Yeah, in the morning it's very foggy and very cold.
Yes, Prabhu. I saw some
Yeah.
videos also of the fog.
Yeah, but I think it will be very easy for you.
Yes,
In January though, it gets to about 1 degrees and 1 degree, 2 degrees and all. That's an extreme actually.
yes, Prabhu. I think that would be most natural. For
Hmm. Yeah, for you everything is natural.
Prabhu, do you want
But
to
here
start the
Pondicherry, it doesn't go below 25 degrees.
not at all? Is it whole year like over 20?
Yeah, whole
Mm.
year it's over 25.
Is it is it
And Singapore,
is it dry air
yeah,
or is it like moist?
it's humid. Here in Pondicherry, it is humid
Yes, Prabhu. Like
because
Philippines.
you have, yeah, coastal areas are generally humid.
Yes, Prabhu.
I think, I mean, you would think you'll experience it if you go. I think maybe Barcelona would be like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I went
Humid.
few times and it was really different because this place is really dry. It's always really dry. And
Yeah.
I went Turkey and I went like sleeping without air conditioning and I felt like swimming. It felt like it felt like the whole bed and everything was wet and I was so confused like how it can be like this.
Yes. Yeah, it's very humid actually. Here also, Pondicherry. Of course, now because it's cloudy the whole day, it's a little bit pleasant climate.
Mm.
Otherwise, once it gets to summer, oh my gosh, now you cannot stay. I mean, even we cannot stay with our. We feel like sitting in chadar the whole day.
Yes, Prabhu.
Don't
Okay,
even want to
Prabhu.
wear kurta or t-shirt, nothing.
You can read the first verse.
Uh, reading Bhagavad Gita, is it? Wow,
Yes, Prabhu.
very good.
Now we are at really famous parts
Yes.
about the soul.
So, न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचिन् नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूया अजो नित्यः शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे. What to a translation? Na, never. Jayate takes birth. Mriyate never dies. Va, either. Kadachit at any time. Past, present, or future. Na, never. I am this. Bhutva came into being. Bhavita will come to be. Va or na, not. Bhuyaha or has come to be. Ajaha unborn. Nityah eternal. Shashvatah permanent. I am this. Pura Puranaha the oldest. Na never. Hanyate is killed. Hanyamane being killed. Sharire by the body. Translation purport by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. For the soul there is never birth nor death, nor having once been, does he ever cease to be. He is unborn, eternal, ever existing, undying, and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. Purport. Qualitatively, the small atomic fragmental part of the Supreme Spirit is one with the Supreme. He undergoes no changes like the body. Sometimes the soul is called the steady or kutastha. The body is subject to 6 kinds of transformations. It takes its birth in the womb of the mother's body, remains for some time, grows, produces some effects, gradually dwindles, and at last vanishes into oblivion. The soul, however, does not go through such changes. The soul is not born, but because he takes on a material body, the body takes its birth. The soul does not take birth there, and the soul does not die. Anything which has birth also has death. And because the soul has no birth, therefore he has no past, present, or future. He is eternal, ever existing, and primeval. That is, there is no trace in history of his coming into being. Under the impression of the body, we seek the history of birth, etc., of the soul. The soul does not at any time become old as the body does. The so called old man, therefore, feels himself to be in the same spirit as in his childhood or youth. The changes of the body do not affect the soul. The soul does not deteriorate like a tree, nor anything material. The soul has no byproduct either. The byproducts of the body, namely children, are also different individual souls, and owing to the body, they appear as children of a particular man. The body develops because of the soul's presence, but the soul has neither offshoots nor change. Therefore, the soul is free from the six changes of the body. In the Katha Upanishad, we find a similar passage which reads, "Na jayate mriyate va vipaschin, nayam kutaschin na vibhuta kaschit, ajo nitya shashvatoyam purano na hanyate hanyamane sharire." Katha Upanishad 1-18. The meaning and purport of this verse is the same as in Bhagavad Gita. But here in this verse, there is one special word, vipaschit, which means learned or with knowledge. The soul is full of knowledge or full always with consciousness. Therefore, consciousness is the symptom of the soul. Even if one does not find the soul within the heart, where he is situated, one can still understand the presence of the soul simply by the presence of consciousness. Sometimes we do not find the sun in the sky owing to clouds, or for some other reason, but the light of the sun is always there, and we are convinced that it is there for daytime. As soon as there is a little light in the sky early in the morning, we can understand that the sun is in the sky. Similarly, since there is some consciousness in all bodies, whether man or animal, we can understand the presence of the soul. This consciousness of the soul is, however, different from the consciousness of the Supreme because the Supreme Consciousness is all knowledge, past, present, and future. The consciousness of the individual soul is prone to be forgetful. When he is forgetful of his real nature, he obtains education and enlightenment from the superior lessons of Krishna. But Krishna is not like the forgetful soul. If so, Krishna's teachings of Bhagavad Gita would be useless. There are two kinds of souls, namely the minute particle soul, Anu Atma, and the super soul, the Vibhu Atma. This is also confirmed in the Katha Upanishad in this way. Anoraniyan mahato mahiyan atmasya janto nihito guhayam tamakratu pashyati vita shoko dhatu prasadan mahimanam atmanaha. Both the super soul Paramatma and the atomic soul Jivatma are situated on the same tree of the body within the same heart of the living being. And only one who has become free from all material desires as well as lamentations can, by the grace of the Supreme, understand the glories of the soul. Krishna is the fountainhead of the super soul also, as will be disclosed in the following chapters. And Arjun is the atomic soul, forgetful of his real nature. Therefore, he requires to be enlightened by Krishna or by his bona fide representative, the spiritual master. Hare Krishna.
Can I read, Prabhu? Haribol.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Shyam Govinda Prabhu, for reading. Haribol.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Text 21. Veda vinashinam nityam ye inam yajam avyayam katham na purushaha partha kam ghata yati kantikam. Veda in knowledge. Avinashinam indestructible, nityam always, yaha one who, enam this soul, ajam unborn, avyayam immutable, katham how, sa he, purushaha person, partha o partha, arjuna come whom, hatayati hurts, hanti kills, come whom. Translation. O Partha, how can a person who knows that the soul is indestructible, unborn, eternal, and immutable kill anyone or cause anyone to kill. Purport. Everything has its proper utility, and a man who is situated in complete knowledge knows how and where to apply a thing for its proper utility. Similarly, violence also has its utility, and how to apply violence rests with the person in knowledge. Although the justice of the peace awards capital punishment to a person condemned for murder, and the justice of the peace cannot be blamed because he orders violence to another person according to the codes of justice. In Manu Samhita, the law book for mankind, it is supported that a murderer should be condemned to death so that in his next life he will not have to suffer for the great sin he has committed. Therefore, the king's punishment of hanging a murderer is actually beneficial. Similarly, when Krishna orders fighting, it must be concluded that violence is for supreme justice, and such as Arjuna should follow the instruction. Knowing well that such violence committed in the act of fighting for Krishna, it is not violence at all because at any rate the man, or rather the soul, cannot be killed. So, for the administration of justice, so called violence is permitted. A surgical operation is not meant to kill the patient but to cure him. Therefore, the fighting to be executed by Arjuna at the instruction of Krishna is with full knowledge, so there is no possibility of sinful reaction. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, Haribol, I can read the next one. Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grihnati naro parani tata sharirani vihaya jirnani anyani samyati navani dehi. Vasamsi, garments, jirnani, old and worn out, yatha, as it is, vihaya, giving up, navani, new garments, grihnati, thus accept, naraha, a man, aparani, other, tata, in the same ways, sharirani, bodies, vihaya, giving up, jirnani, old and useless, anyani, different, samyati, verily accepts, navani, new sets, dehi, the embodied. Translation: as a person puts on new garments, giving up old ones, similarly, the soul accepts new material bodies, giving up the old and useless ones. Purport: change of the body by the atomic individual soul is an accepted fact. Even some of the modern scientists who do not believe in the existence of the soul, but at the same time cannot explain the source of energy from the heart, have to accept continuous changes of body which appear from childhood to boyhood and from boyhood to youth and again from youth to old age. From old age, the change is transferred to another body. This has already been explained in the previous verse. Transference of the atomic individual soul to another body is made possible by the grace of the supersoul. The supersoul fulfills the desire of the atomic soul as one friend fulfills the desire of another. The Vedas like Mundaka Upanishad as well as the Shvetashvatara Upanishad compare the soul and the supersoul to two friendly birds sitting on the same tree. One of the birds, the individual atomic soul, is eating the fruit of the tree, and the other bird, Krishna, is simply watching his friend. Of these two birds, although they are the same in quality, one is captivated by the fruits of the material tree, while the other is simply witnessing the activities of his friend. Krishna is the witnessing bird, and Arjuna is the eating bird. Although they are friends, one is still the master, and the other is the servant. Forgetfulness of this relationship by the atomic soul is the cause of one's changing his position from one tree to another, or from one body to another. The jiva soul is struggling very hard on the tree of the material body, but as soon as he agrees to accept the other bird as the supreme spiritual master, as Arjuna agreed to do by the voluntary surrender unto Krishna for instruction, the subordinate bird immediately becomes free from all lamentations. Both the Katha Upanishad and Shvetashvatara Upanishad confirms this. Samane vrikshe purusho nimagno nishaya shochadi muhyamana Yushtam yada pashyat anyamisham asya mahimanam iti vita shokaha. Although the two birds are in the same tree, the eating bird is fully engrossed with anxiety and moroseness as the enjoyer of the fruits of the tree. But if in some way or other he turns his face to his friend, who is the Lord and knows his glories, at once the suffering bird becomes free from all anxieties. Arjuna has now turned his face towards his eternal friend, Krishna, and is understanding the Bhagavad Gita from him, and thus, hearing from Krishna, he can understand the supreme glories of the Lord and be free from lamentation. Arjuna is advised herewith by the Lord not to lament for the bodily change of his old grandfather and his teachers. He should rather be happy to kill their bodies in the righteous fight so that they may be cleansed at once of all reactions from various bodily activities. One who lays down his life on the sacrificial altar or in the proper battlefield is at once cleansed of bodily reactions and promoted to a higher status of life. So there was no cause for Arjuna's lamentation. Hare Krishna. Okay, who wants to continue?
Can I read, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, yes, Prabhu.
नैनं छिदन्ति शत्राणि नैनं देहति पावक नाचैनं नाच नाचैनं लद्ध्यन्त्यापो नाशोष्यति मारुत na never enam unto this soul chidanti can cut into pieces shastrani all weapons na never enam unto this soul dehati burn pavakah fire na never cha also enam unto this soul kledayanti moistures apaha water na never shoshanti dries marutah wind. Translation: the soul can never be cut into pieces by any weapon, nor can be he burned by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by the wind. But all kinds of weapons, sword, flames, rain, tornadoes, etc., are unable to kill the spirit soul. It is appeared that there were many kinds of weapons made of earth, water, air, ether, etc., in addition to the modern weapons of fire. Even the nuclear weapons of the modern age are classified as fire weapons, but formerly there were other weapons made of all different types of material elements. Firearms were contracted by water weapons, which are now unknown to modern science, nor do modern scientists have knowledge of tornado weapons. Nonetheless, the soul can never be cut knowledge into pieces nor annihilated by any number of weapons, regardless of scientific devices. Nor was it ever possible to cut the individual soul from the original soul. The Mayavadi, however, cannot describe how the individual soul evolved from ignorance and consequently became covered by illusory energy because they are atomic individual soul. Sanatana. Eternally, they are prone to be covered by this illusory energy and thus they become separated from the association of the Supreme Lord just as the spark of the fire, although one in quality with the fire, are prone to be extinguished when out of the fire in the Varaha Purana. The living entities are described as separated parts and parcel of the Supreme. They are eternally so according to the Bhagavad Gita also. So even after being liberated from illusion, the living entities remain as a separated identity, as is evident from the teachings of the Lord Arjuna of the Lord to Arjuna. Arjun became liberated by the knowledge received from Krishna, but he never became one with Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Can I continue?
Hare Krishna, yes, Prabhu.
Achityo yam adyo yam akliyo dyo sosya evacha nitya sarvagata sastunar achalo yam sanatanaha. Achitya, unbreakable. Yam, this soul. Adhyam, cannot be burned. Yam, I am this soul. Aklidya, insoluble. Associa cannot be dried. Eva, certainly. Cha and Nitya, everlasting. Sarvagata, all prevailing. Tanu, unchangeable. Achalah, immovable. I am this soul, Sanatana, eternally the same. Translation: this individual soul is unbreakable and insoluble and can be neither burned nor dried. He is everlasting, all pervading, unchangeable, immovable, and eternally the same. Purport: all the qualification of the atomic soul definitely prove that the individual soul is eternally the atomic particle of the spirit whole, and he remains the same at atom eternally without change. The theory of monism is very difficult to apply in this case because the individual soul is never expected to become one homogeneously. After liberation from material contamination, the atomic soul may prefer to remain as a spiritual spark in the effulgent rays of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the intelligent souls enter into the spiritual planets to associate with the personality of Godhead. The word Sarvagata, all prevailing, is significant because there is no doubt that living entity are all over God's creation. They live on the land, in the water, in the air, within the earth, and even within fire. The belief that they are sterilized in fire is not acceptable because it is clearly stated here that the soul cannot be burned by fire. Therefore, there is no doubt that there are living entities also in the sun planet which suitable bodies to live there. If the sun global in uninhabited, then the word Sarvagata, living everywhere, becomes meaningless. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. May I continue?
Hare Krishna, yes, Prabhu.
Text 25. अव्यक्तोऽयम् अचिन्तोऽयम् अविकार्योऽयम् उच्यते तस्मादेवं विदितैवनं मनु मनुष्योषि मनुष्योषितुमर्हसि. Avyakta, invisible. I am the soul, this soul. Achintaya, inconceivable. I am this soul. Avikarya, unchangeable. I am this soul. Uchyate, it said. Tasmat, therefore. Evam, like this. Viditva, knowing it well. Enam, this soul. Now, do not sichtam, may lament over. Arhasi, he deserve. Translation. It is said that the soul is invisible, inconceivable, immutable, and unchangeable. Knowing this, you should not grieve for the body. Purport. As described previously, the magnitude of the soul is so small for our material calculation that it cannot be seen even by the most powerful microscope. Therefore, it is invisible. As far as whole existence is concerned, no one can establish its existence experimentally beyond the proof of Shruti or Vedic wisdom. We have to accept this truth because there is no other source of understanding the existence of the soul. Although it is a fact by perception, there are many things we have to accept solely on grounds of superior authority. No one can deny Father. There is no source of identity of the mother by the of the mother. Clearly, the soul understands the soul accept the way. Another world is encountered by human experience knowledge. The sponge and test, and that is a statement of this. And we have to. Unlike the bodily changes, there is no Yes, you can slow it up.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, your connection is cutting.
And
You can go.
as eternally unchangeable, the soul remains atomic in comparison to the infinite supreme soul. The supreme soul is infinitely vast and infinitely eternal.
The Supreme Soul is infinity and the atomic soul is infestation, infinitesimal. Therefore, the intermestial soul, being unchangeable, can never become equal to infinity soul or the supreme personality of Godhead. This concept is repeated in the Vedas in the different ways just to confirm that the stability of the conception of the soul. Repeat,
Sorry,
repeat
my internet
some
is good.
of some things is necessary in order that we understand the matter truly without error.
Haribol. Rona Prabhu, you want to continue the next one? Hero Prabhu, you can also read the next one if you want.
अथा चैनं नित्य जातं नित्यं वा मन्यसे मृतं तथापि त्वं मकाबाहो नैनं शोचितुम् arhasi. Ata if, however, cha also enam, this soul, nitya chatam, always born, nityam, forever, va, either, manyase, so think, mritam, dead, tatapi, still, tvam, you, mahabaho, almighty armed one, na, never, enam, about the soul, shotsitum, to lament, arhasi, deserve. Translation: If, however, you think that the soul is perpetually burned and always dies, still you have no reason to lament, O mighty armed. Purport: There is always a class of philosophers, almost akin to the Buddhists, who do not believe in the separate existence of the soul beyond the body. When Lord Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita, it appears that such philosophers existed, and they were known as the Lokayatikas and Vaibhashikas. These philosophers maintained that life's symptoms or soul takes place at a certain mature condition of material combination. The modern material scientist and materialist philosophers also think similarly. According to them, the body is a combination of physical elements, and at a certain stage, the life symptoms develop by interaction of the physical and chemical elements. The science of anthropology is based on this philosophy. Currently, many pseudo-religions now becoming fashionable in America are also adhering to this philosophy, as well as to the nihilistic, non-devotional Buddhist sects. Even if Arjuna did not believe in the existence of the soul, as in the Vaibhashika philosophy, there would still have been no cause for lamentation. No one laments the loss of a certain bulk of chemicals and stops discharging his prescribed duty. On the other hand, in modern science and scientific warfare, so many tons of chemicals are wasted for achieving victory over the enemy. According to the Vaibhashika philosophy, the so-called soul or Atma vanishes along with the deterioration of the body. So in any case, whether Arjuna accepted the Vedic conclusion that there is an atomic soul or whether he did not believe in the existence of the soul, he had no reason to lament. According to this theory, since there are so many yes, thank you. So many living entities generating out of matter every moment, and so many of them are being vanquished every moment, there is no need to grieve for such an incident. However, since he was not risking rebirth of the soul, Arjuna had no reason to be afraid of being affected with sinful reactions due to his killing his grandfather and teacher. But at the same time, Krishna sarcastically addressed Arjuna as Mahabahu, mighty armed, because he at least did not accept the theory of the Vaibhashikas, which leaves aside the Vedic wisdom. As a Kshatriya, Arjuna belonged to the Vedic culture, and it behooved him to continue to follow its principles. Do I read the next verse also?
Hare Krishna, yes, Prabhu.
Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityur dhruvam janma mritasya cha. I'm sorry. Tasmad apariharyerte natvam sochitum arhasi. Jatasya, one who has taken his birth, he certainly, dhruvaha, a fact, mrityu, death, dhruvam, it is also a fact, janma, birth, mritasya, of the dead, cha, also, tasmat, therefore, apariharye, for that which is unavoidable, arte, in the matter of na, do not, tvam, you, shochitum, to lament, arhasi, deserve. Translation, for one who has taken his birth, death is certain, and for one who is dead, birth is certain. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament. Purport, one has to take birth according to one's activities of life, and after finishing one term of activities, one has to die to take birth for the next. In this way, the cycle of birth and death is revolving one after the other without separation. This cycle of birth and death does not, however, support unnecessary murder, slaughter, and war, but at the same time, violence and war are inevitable factors in human society for keeping law and order. The battle of Kurukshetra, being the will of the Supreme, was an inevitable event, and to fight for the right cause is the duty of a Kshatriya. Why should he be afraid of or aggrieved at the death of his relatives, since he was discharging his proper duty? He did not deserve to break the law, thereby becoming subjected to the reaction of sinful acts, of which he was so afraid. By avoiding the discharge of his proper duty, he would not be able to stop the death of his relatives, and he would be degraded due to his selection of the wrong path of action. Haribol, thank you, Prabhu.
Haribol, thank you so much, Prabhu. Okay, who wants to be next one? I think it's maybe Sham Govinda Prabhu's turn.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu.
Can you continue?
Yes, Prabhu, you can also continue.
Okay. Avyakta dini bhutani vyakta madhyani bharata avyakta nidyanya eva tatra. Sorry, this message is in the middle. Tatra ka paridevana. Next one. Avyakta nidini. Avyakta nidini. In the beginning, unmanifested. Bhutani, all that are created. Vyakta, manifested. Madhyani, in the middle. Bharata, or descendant of Bharata. Avyakta, non-manifested. Nidhani, all that are vanquished. Eva, it is all like that. Satra, therefore, ka, what? Paridevanam, lamentation. Translation, all created beginnings are unmanifested in their beginning, manifested in their interim state, and unmanifested again when they are annihilated. So what need is there for lamentation? Purport, accepting that there are two classes of philosophers. One believe in the existence of soul and the other not believe in the existence of the soul. There is no cause for lamentation in neither case. No, non-beliefs in the non-beliefs in non non-beliefs in the existence of the soul are called atheists by followers of Vedic wisdom. Yet, even if, for argument's sake, we accept the atheistic theory, there is still no there is no cause for lamentation apart from the separate existence of the soul. The material elements remain unmanifested before creation. From this subtle state of manifestation comes manifestation, just as from neither ether air is generated, from here fire is generated, from fire water is generated, and from water earth become manifested. From the earth many varieties of manifestation take place. That for example, a big skyscraper manifested from the earth. When it is dismantled, the manifestation becomes again uh, a manifestation becomes again unmanifested and remains as atoms in the ultimate stage. The law of conservation of energy remains, but in course of time things are manifested and unmanifested. That is the difference. That then what cause is there for lamentation? Neither in the stage of manifestation or unmanifestation. Somehow or other, even in the manifested stage, things are not lost, both at the beginning and at the end. All elements remain unmanifested, and only in the middle are they manifested. And this does not make any real material difference. And if we accept the Vedic conclusion as stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Antvanata Eme Deha, that these material bodies are perishable in due course of time. Nitya Yukta Shariranaha. But that soul is eternal. Then we must remember always that the body is like a dress. Therefore, why lament the changing of the dress? The material body has no factual existence in relations to the eternal soul. It is just something like a dream. In a dream, we may think of flying in the sky or sitting on a chariot or as a king. But when we wake up, we can see that we are neither in the sky nor seated on the chariot. The Vedic wisdom encourages self-realization on the basis of non-existence of the material body. Therefore, in neither case, whether one believes in the existence of the soul or one does not believe in the existence of the soul, there is no cause for lamentation for loss of the body. Sorry. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you so much.
Acharyavat pashyati how this goes? Acharyavat pashyati kaschidенam acharyavat vadati tathaiva chanya ascharyavat srinoti srutvapya enam vedana chaiva kaschid. Ascharyavat, amazing. Pashyati, see. Kaschit, some. Enam, the soul. Ascharyavat, amazing. Vadati, speak. Tata, there. Eva, certainly. Cha, also. Anyaha, others. Acharyavat, similarly amazing. Cha, also. Enam, the soul. Anyaha, others. Srinoti, here. Srutva, having heard. Api, even, enam, this soul, Veda, do know, na, never, cha, and, eva, certainly, kashchit, anyone. Translation. Some look on the soul as amazing, some describe him as amazing, and some hear of him as amazing, while others, even after hearing about him, cannot understand him at all. purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Since Gita is largely based on the principles of the Upanishads, it is not surprising to also find this passage in the Katha Upanishad. Sranava Srana one second. Shravanayapi bahubiryo nalabhya srinvantopi bhavo yah navidyu ascharyo vakta kushalosya labda acharyo jnanata kushala anushishta. That was hard one. The fact that the atomic soul is within the body of a gigantic animal, in the body of a gigantic banyan tree, and also in the microbic germs, millions and billions of which occupy only an inch of space, is certainly very amazing. Yes, that is actually. Sometimes I think about this, and it's impossible to understand how many living entities here are, and we are human beings. It's it's hard to understand. Men with a poor fund of knowledge and men who are not austere cannot understand the wonders of the individual atomic spark of spirit. Yeah, it's really hard to understand, even though it is explained by the greatest authority of knowledge. We imparted lessons even to Brahma, the first living being in the universe. Owing to a gross material conception of things, most men in this age cannot imagine how such a small particle can become both so great and so small. Yes, even hearing about this, it's really hard to understand how it can become a tiny germ and then it can become a huge banyan tree. The same, so
It is actually like Prabhu, the universe, when Mahavishnu, created all the universe is like a seed, but gradually it becomes a big universe.
yes, Prabhu. So men look at the soul proper as wonderful, either by constitution or by description. Illusioned by the material energy, people are so engrossed in subject matter for sense gratification that they have very little time to understand the question of self-understanding. Even though it is a fact that without this self-understanding, all activities result in ultimate defeat in the struggle for existence. Perhaps one has no idea that one must think of the soul and also make a solution of the material miseries. Some people who are inclined to hear about the soul may be attending lectures in good association, but sometimes, owing to ignorance, they are misguided by acceptance of the super soul and the atomic soul as one without distinction of magnitude. It is very difficult to find a man who perfectly understands the position of the soul, the super soul, the atomic soul, their respective functions, relationships, and all other major and minor details. And it is still more difficult to find a man who has actually derived full benefit from knowledge of the soul, and who is able to describe the position of the soul in different aspects. But if somehow or other one is able to understand the subject matter of the soul, then one's life is successful. The easiest process for understanding the subject matter of self, however, is to accept the statements of the Bhagavad Gita spoken by the greatest authority, Lord Krishna, without being deviated by other theories. But it also requires a great deal of penance and sacrifice, either in this life or in the previous ones, before one is able to accept Krishna as the Supreme Person of Godhead. Krishna can, however, be known as such by the causeless mercy of the pure devotee and by no other way. Yes, Krishna made this process actually really straightforward and easy by speaking this Bhagavad Gita. Because otherwise, yeah, this Bhagavad Gita is like, otherwise you would have to study so many things to even come close to the beginning of this knowledge. And Krishna gave it all in one
Even
conversation.
the even the Vedas has 100 crore slokas, so even in a whole lifetime, we'll not able to finish
Yes,
that
Prabhu.
Veda.
And still it's so hard to understand. And there is actually no way to understand it. As we can see, anyone who read the Bhagavad Gita, millions of translations they made, no one could understand. Everyone has their own interpretations, and there is no other way. Even though it's a simple matter that Krishna spoke, it's not simple matter, but he explained it in a simple way as it can be explained, and still it can be only
Yes,
understood by
but
by the mercy of a pure
But
devotee.
Mayavadis,
Yes, they can never understand.
but the Mayavadis,
even such simple explanation also, it is misinterpreted so easily.
Yeah. Yes,
So
Prabhu.
many rascals.
yes. In India, they say
Hey,
that Prabhupada in India, Prabhupada, people say that Prabhupada translation is like in first chapter, Prabhupada is writing about devotional service, the highest thing. Prabhupada, did wrong translation, but people do not know that this is actual sar of Bhagavad Gita.
yes, Prabhu.
They're trying to separate the heat from the fire, heat and light from fire.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, kind of crazy. Bhagavad Gita means bhakti.
Yes, Prabhu.
The end conclusion of everything is bhakti, and Prabhupada is not wasting any much time actually. He's just revealing it from the start. In fact, many times, even I was reading Bhagavatam. I was reading this first canto, 15th chapter, 14th and 15th chapter. In that, there is a description, because Arjuna goes to Dwarka to meet Krishna. He leaves Hastinapur and goes to Dwarka to meet Krishna. But after 7 months, several months, he has not come back. So Yudhishthir Maharaj is asking where he is. No, what would have happened to him? And in the purport, Prabhupada wastes no time. Prabhupada says, Krishna has disappeared. So Arjuna is taking a long time, and Maharaj Yudhishthir is, speculating in different ways what might have happened to Arjuna. So I mean, that's how eager Prabhupada wants to tell us the truth. He does
Yes.
not want to waste time with suspense and all that. Although the text itself would be holding so much of suspense. Like you see in the case of Bhagavad Gita, no, the pure bhakti comes only in the later verses.
Yeah.
Starting, there's so many, Sankhya Yoga, Buddhi Yoga, and all these various kinds of yogas are mentioned. But from the start, Prabhupada stresses on bhakti, bhakti, bhakti yoga is the topmost, bhakti yoga is the topmost. Prabhupada does not waste any time actually.
Yes, Prabhu. He doesn't confuse any other topics. And if he
Yes,
explains something else, it's always true bhakti, how it's related to
yes,
bhakti.
yes.
Even
They explain
even
something
in
also.
Hare Krishna Mahamantra fully, because if someone chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, during the reading during the purport, reading the purport, so he will start the Bhakti Lata Bij.
Yes, Prabhu.
Important thing.
Okay, Haribo, next one. Who wants to read? Okay,
Bro, can I?
yes, Prabhu, this could be
Sorry.
the last one. Then we read six as the completes.
देहि नित्यम् अवद्यं देहि सर्वस्य भारत तस्मत् सर्वाणि भूतानि न त्वं शोचितुम् अर्हसि. Dehi, the owner of the material body, Nityam, eternally avyadya, cannot be killed. Ayam, this soul, Dehi, in the body, Sarvasya of every one, Bharata, or descendant of Bharata, Tasmate, therefore, Sarvani, all Bhutani, living entities that are born, na, never, Tvam, yourself, Sochitam, to lament, Arhasi, deserve. Translation, O descendant of Bharata, he who dwells in the body is eternal and can never be slain. Therefore, you need not grieve for any creation. Purport from A.C. Bhaktivinoda Srila Prabhupada. The Lord now concludes the chapter of instruction on the immutable spirit soul in describing the immortal soul in various ways. Lord Krishna establishes that the soul is immortal and the body is temporary. Therefore, Arjuna as a Kshatriya should not ab- abandon his duty out of fear that his grandfather and teacher Bhishma and Drona will die in the battle. On the authority of Sri Krishna, one has to believe that there is a soul different from the material body, not that there is no such thing as soul, or that living systems develop at a certain stage of material maturity resulting from the interaction of chemicals. Though the soul is immortal, violence is not encouraged, but at a time of war it is not discouraged when there is actual need for it. That need must be justified in terms of the terms of the sanction of the Lord, and not capriciously. Hare
Yes.
Krishna.
Well,
Thank you very much, Prabhu.
here also
Krishna
the question
from
was
Srila Prabhupada. So the iPhone that you see in the participants list, that is our devotee, Bhakta Nandagopal Prabhu. Actually, he's the son of younger son of Vishwambar Prabhu and Vishnupriya Mataji. So he's right now in Pondicherry. So he's joined the session through the link in the Telegram group. So he's in the Telegram group. So please welcome Nandagopal Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Nanda Gopal Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Nanda Gopal. Naam Jai Shri
Hare Krishna
Prabhupada.
Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, devotee, everyone. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Shri.
Haribol. So, how long have you been at Pondicherry now?
For 3 days. This is my third day.
Or you just came? Very nice. How has it been? Has it been busy?
Yes, quite busy, but it's super nice.
Yes, Prabhu.
I love the life.
It's very nice.
Away from the city, all the it's super nice.
Yes, Prabhu. So, are you from Singapore, or?
Yes, I'm from Singapore.
Yes. So it's much more peaceful than in Singapore.
100 times more peaceful.
Yes, Prabhu.
Singapore always some very
cities
country.
Yes, just that what Prabhu was explaining, that it's like really small. The whole country is like one city only, and it's so packed because everyone lives in the small area.
Yeah. Small apartment buildings.
Yes, Prabhu. So how long you gonna stay in Pondicherry?
I'm gonna leave tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
And then I'll return to Chennai. Then I'll go back to Singapore in a few days.
Okay. Yes, Prabhu.
Actually, we will be going their house on Saturday for house program in Chennai.
Okay.
Yes. Temple devotees.
Yes, Prabhu.
You know Vishnupriya Mataji, right?
Yeah. Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, her house, Mataji's house.
Haribol. Yes, you can make a video of that.
Yeah, I'll try to make one short or something.
Yes, Prabhu.
Then I'll vlog the whole thing. Yeah.
He's an upcoming vlogger.
Yes, really nice. We need more.
Yeah, so Nandagopal Prabhu he's making a nice vlog of his India trip actually.
Oh, really nice. Yes.
Because All this, yeah, right. The Singaporeans, they're all been for the yatra, right? From Haridwar, Rishikesh, and then they came down to Kurukshetra, and then to Vrindavan. So we met them in Vrindavan actually when we went. So we met them in Vrindavan, and then yeah, they came down to Pondicherry.
Yes, Prabhu. This is really nice that the yacht is taking the vlogging because the vlogging.
Yeah. So
show everything in our daily sadhana, everything. People get interested.
Yes,
Also.
Prabhu. It's also for others. It's really beneficial to see the vlogging, especially because lectures we always see the same thing, but when someone is doing vlogging, we see everything that happens practically in the life of, and there is so many different things happening also. For Nimanitai Prabhu's vlogs are so interesting because there is always, it changes. It's never the same thing. And
just 1 minute. When you are making vlog,
yes,
when you
Prabhu.
start
I'm
making.
thinking this summer I should start this summer.
So nice. But when you will be making.
Yes, Prabhu. I will definitely. This week also came to my mind that yes, Prabhu. I will.
Every week it comes.
Yeah. I will start first maybe to the Hare Krishna League so that the devotees can watch.
Yeah. At least you can put unlisted if you don't feel to put public.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, I think I'll start.
Yeah, you make some.
Hare Krishna Bhaktananda Prabhu, are you in college or what are you doing right now?
Right now I'm in 10th standard in India terms. So I'm 16 actually.
Oh. What's your future plan after 12? Joining full-time Brahmachari in Singapore?
Yes, actually in Singapore after 12 you have to join the army for 2 years. It's compulsory.
Yes, Prabhu.
Everyone.
Remember.
Then after
Prabhupada
that,
said that
I'll
it's baseless because Prabhupada said it's completely baseless because if you have a Brahminical quality, so then why you should waste your time in army?
Yes,
but it's compulsory.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't avoid it. Sadly.
Yes, I remember Sri Prabhu had to go there.
Huh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
You also went, Swami Prabhu?
No,
Swami Prabhu escaped conscription.
So I say that I'm injured. I said I'm injured. I cannot. I went to the doctor. I said that my body's broken and everything. Then they say that okay. They say that okay. Now you don't have to do anything. But if there is war, we might call you and you might need to come. They were like this.
Hopefully there's no war.
No, but Finland is right next to Russia.
Bothering Russia.
Finland is joined NATO and on the verge of war actually.
Really?
Do in Singapore everyone have to go to army, even if someone moves like from India to Singapore and gets a citizenship, does he have to go later to the army?
If they're below 20 years old, they have to go. But if they're above like 23, they don't have to go.
Okay. So, for example, Sundar Gopal Prabhu never was asked to go to army.
No.
He went to the army.
Oh, he went.
In Singapore, yes. He was born and brought up in Singapore, and he went to the army. Yes.
I thought Prabhu was from India, like born.
No.
Hmm.
Born and brought up. He's
in one YouTube video.
Great grandfather moved from India to Singapore.
Yes, Prabhu.
In one video, in one YouTube video, Sundar Babu was saying that there was a movie called Terminator. So the Terminator guy was holding a gun. So Sundar Babu he was saying that that gun was is really heavy. It's like in cinemas they think like it's very cool to have a gun, but it's really very heavy. When I was in army, so it was quite heavy, and it is not cool actually.
Prabhu was in the army. Mahaprabhu was in the army, but Mahaprabhu faced a big problem. Actually, he refused to take the food over there because he was a devotee. Yes, so he was criminally charged actually, they put him in jail.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're not allowed to bring outside food into the
He's not allowed to
army
bring
camp.
outside food. So
Oh,
not take
that's
prasadam
really
and
strict.
he refused camp. So he was criminally charged and big time
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah, and 2 years
And
it sounds a long time also, because here it's only 6 months, but they're 2 years.
and Nandagopal Prabhu's elder brother Vishal Prabhu, he took up Singapore citizenship. Actually, Nandagopal Prabhu is Indian citizen by passport, but he has a Singapore PR, the permanent residence. But still, he has to go to the army
Oh,
just to
really?
serve in the Singapore. Even having an Indian passport, still he has to serve in the Singapore army, retain his Indian PR. I mean, sorry, the permanent residence in Singapore.
Is there something like civil service, or everyone has to go to like the military service? Because here you can, if someone doesn't want to do military service, he can choose, he can do like civil service or the
So like the fat people, even like the very, very obese people or injured people, then they'll do the admin jobs.
yes, Prabhu.
Like Raj Prabhu, he did admin job.
Yes, Prabhu.
But if you see the case of Shri Prabhu, how he tactfully avoided, I mean, of course, he's still in the army, but his profile is like super low. His profile is of a stone. All he has to do is the arms store will be there. He has to just go sit there the whole day and come. He doesn't even have to stay in the camp. He can stay. That's why he stays in the temple, goes in the morning to camp, and then comes back by evening.
Yeah,
He doesn't.
Because he wrote when it was his time to join up in the Singapore army. He wrote in a letter that I am mentally unstable. I feel suicidal.
Yes.
So, so then the people will think that if you give him guns, maybe he'll shoot himself or something. So they better like no. You don't even need to stay in the camp. You just go stay wherever you are. Just come in the morning and go in the evening.
Just provided something.
I mean, yeah, he somehow escaped it.
You can also write like that.
They'll check my whole body. I don't know how Sri Prabhu escaped. They'll do brain scan and all. They'll check each. If you say you're injured, they'll check your. They'll do X-ray. They'll do everything.
You'd say they'll check like.
Yes, here they just asked me. I had to go to the doctor's office, and the doctor was sitting with computer, and he was asking, "Oh, where are you hurt?" I said, "My knee is hurt," and then he said, "Ah, okay, then maybe you cannot go." He was saying like this. Then I said,
What
"Ah,
about what about the physically challenged people? Because are they forced to go, or they are excused?
They have to go to civil service, I think.
yeah."
Yeah, but if they're really gone, then they won't go. Only if they leg break or hand break.
What about after the 2 years is finished? Do you have to go after that? Like, because here they do like every few years, you have to go for like 1 month or something like this.
Every year we have to go for 2 weeks after that. It's called reservist.
Yes, Prabhu. So Singapore is really strict. They are building some professional army, I see. So much training.
What? They have no fight with anybody, no beef with nothing. I don't know why they're building such.
And just in case Malaysia come again.
But why would Malaysia attack them? I mean, Singapore literally it borders only what? Singapore's an island. First of all, it's an island. It doesn't even border any country. There's only the Johor Causeway connecting it to Malaysia. Of course, you have the few causeways, connecting it to Malaysia. And one stone's throw away is Batam Island, Indonesia. Both countries are very friendly with Singapore.
Yeah.
So who's going to Singapore? We don't know.
Yes, Prabhu. They don't have much worries, I think.
Singapore doesn't have much problem. So materially speaking, Singapore is an amazing country.
If I got
Very well. Okay, so we have to read six as the compare so we don't forget them.
Yeah.
Who wants to start?
Yes, Prabhu, I will start.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
चेतो दर्पणो मार्जनं शयकैरवचन्द्रिका वितरणं विद्यावधूजीवनम् आनन्दाम्बुधिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णां मित्रास्वादनं सर्वात्मा स्नापनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्णसङ्कीर्तनम्
नाम नामकारि बहुधु निज सर्वशक्तिर्तत्रार्पिता नियमिता स्मरणेन काला एतादृशी तव कृपा भगवान् ममापि दुर्दैवम् ईदृशं ऐहिज्येनानुग्रह
कृणादपि सुनीचेन तरोरपि सहिष्णुना अमानिना मानदेन कीर्तनया सदा हरि
न धनं न जनं न सुन्दरीं कवितां वा जगदीश ईश कामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भगवद्भक्तिर् अहेतुकी त्वये
ऐनन्दन तनुजकिङ्करं पतितं मां वसीं विस्मय भवाबुधौ कृपा त्वा पादपङ्कजा स्थितदूले सद्रसं विचिन्तय
seven. Yeah. Nainam Galadashita Vadanam Gadgadaya Gira Pulake Nichitam Vapukada Tavanam Grahane Bhavishyati.
युगायितं निमेषेण चक्षुषा परवर्षतिं शून्यायितं जगत्सर्वं गोविन्दं विरहे नमे
अस्लिस्य वा पादरतं पिनष्टु मामदर्शनान् मर्महतं करोतु वा यथा तथा वा विधातु लम्पतो मत्प्राणनाथस्तु स एव नापरः. Translation. Glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtana, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large, because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious.
O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benedictions to living beings, and those who have hundreds and millions of names, like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them.
One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly.
O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful woman, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your costless devotional service birth after birth.
O son of Maharaj Nanda, Krishna, I am your eternal servitor. Somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet.
Oh my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up, and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name? Oh,
O Govinda, feeling your separations, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I'm feeling all vacant in the world in your absence.
I know no
I
one.
know no one, but
Yes,
oh,
Prabhu.
sorry, you can say. I know no one but Krishna is my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He's completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord unconditionally.
हरि बोल श्री शिक्षाष्टकम की जाए, हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जाए, पंचदश
Jai.
नित्यानंद प्रभु की जाए, श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य महाप्रभु की जाए, जगत गुरु
Jai.
श्री भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपद की जाए, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल।